I learned that things happened here that never should have happened. I take that very seriously, and I want to say I am so sorry to the people who were affected.
And I come to find out there's not that much Hollywood in Hollywood. The Hollywood in my mind is not the Hollywood in real life. I want to talk about things. If Bill Cosby is accused of sedating and raping all these women, and it's the number one story in the news, I want to talk about that, yes. You know, celebrity culture has, I think, collapsed at this point, and I think that's a death that needed to happen, you know, because the amount of excess, the amount of debauchery is stunning.
After 30 years of keeping Hollywood's biggest secrets to herself, Rosie O'Donnell is finally speaking out about what Ellen DeGeneres was actually doing on Epstein Island.
Both of them are ridiculous. Who thinks that antiquated way that you're going to find your love in a paradise island and it's going to last forever?
As Ellen's daytime show became more and more famous, she gained access to very exclusive elite circles, and Rosie saw this transformation happen firsthand. She watched her friends slowly cut ties with the regular people she knew before becoming a billionaire. Ellen began spending her time with the ultra-wealthy, people who traveled on private jets and attended secret parties on private islands. Rosie understood exactly what Ellen was trying to pull off, but she didn't say anything at the time. Back in 2004, Ellen went on.
Larry King asked her, and Kelly and I were in bed watching it, and he asked her, whatever happened to Rosie O'Donnell? Her show went down the tubes. And Ellen said, I don't know, Rosie. We're not friends. And that was like one of the most painful things that ever happened to me in show business in my life.
Just like that, a 30-year friendship was ended with just one sentence. From that point on, Rosie was finished with her. She wasn't just done with Ellen, she was done staying quiet. She had knowledge about Ellen's new lifestyle that the public didn't know yet. She knew about the private vacations, the secret meetings, and most importantly, she knew the truth about what was happening on Epstein Island.
I noticed right away there was a different culture about celebrity. Broke my heart to be in a business that creates and sells those lies for profit. You know, it was very heavy, to tell you the truth. And I knew in order for me to be a good parent to this 12-year-old child that I've got to be around for 20 more years. I need to take care of myself.
For many years, Rosie watched from the sidelines as Ellen danced on TV, handing out gifts and acting like the most generous person on earth. All the while, the pain of that old betrayal never really went away.
The way she treated me must be the way she treats others. And I felt, very betrayed.
But then last year, Rosie made a move that caught everyone by surprise. She moved away to Ireland, and once she was settled, she released a long statement on Instagram. Right next to her message, she posted a picture of Jeffrey Epstein. That was her way of warning everyone and showing the world she was finally ready to talk about what goes on at Epstein Island. While she was calling out the people involved in that dark circle, Ellen saw it coming and knew exactly what it meant. She knew Rosie held all her secrets. In a desperate attempt to fix things, Ellen publicly shared Rosie's post and added a caption saying, "Good for you, Rosie." After ignoring her for 2 decades, denying their friendship on national TV, and blacklisting her from the industry, Ellen was suddenly trying to play the part of a supportive friend, but her plan failed. The newly released Epstein documents started connecting the dots that everyone began to notice. Ellen's name appeared in those files, and people started asking the very questions she had spent decades trying to hide.
Ellen DeGeneres is named in the Epstein documents, and that part is real. Her name appears in the broader index of over 300 high-profile individuals that show up across the investigative materials. Flight logs, communications, third-party interviews, peripheral records.
When the Epstein files were finally made public and people began digging through them, the findings were absolutely shocking. There were testimonies that completely ruined the image Ellen wanted the world to believe about her.
The biggest common thread that everyone told me is that what goes on behind the scenes is a far cry from what the show represents in their Be Kind messaging and what the show and what Ellen DeGeneres herself profits off.
For years, she sat on that stage every day with a massive smile, telling the audience to be kind and respectful while promoting love and positivity. In reality, she was living an entirely different life behind the scenes. She became so overconfident that she wasn't even hiding it well anymore. The interview with Sandra Bullock is where things really got strange. During that segment, Ellen and Sandra talked about a beauty treatment made from young human skin cells.
It is an extraction from a piece of skin that came from a young person
far, far away, and they somehow figured out how to extract.
It's foreskin from a Korean baby.
And so we call it. I call it the facial, and I think when you see how good it is to your face, you too will run to your local facialist and say, "Give me the."
Looking back now, it seems obvious they were hinting at these dark practices on live television, thinking no one would ever figure out what they were actually discussing. They were wrong, because the people investigating this also found links between Ellen and the Wayfair scandal. If you aren't familiar with that, here's the breakdown. Wayfair is a massive online furniture site, and for a time they were selling basic industrial cabinets for crazy prices. We are talking about tens of thousands of dollars for items that should only cost a few hundred. Strangely, those cabinets were named after real children who had recently gone missing. Many online theories suggest this was used for money laundering or even illegal human trafficking, and Ellen was reportedly linked to the whole situation. Then there is the set design. People compared the buildings on Epstein Island to the set of Ellen's talk show, and the similarities are hard to ignore.
Own the image of the temple that was on the island. Look at it.
Oh, well, you know where that is too, right? It's a similar image to that, right?
No.
I know Jamie does.
What is it?
It's on the set of a famous talk show that's now not on anymore.
Oh, Ellen? Was that Ellen?
Yeah.
Really?
Ellen didn't just have a normal TV studio, she built a version of her private sanctuary right in Los Angeles, using the same architecture and atmosphere. When Rosie started signaling that the truth was coming out, Ellen knew she was in trouble. She realized that everything she had built and protected for so long was about to fall apart. What happened next was a total panic. Ellen knew she had to move fast. She had dealt with public backlash before, like when her show was exposed as a toxic workplace. She lost her deals and sponsors and tried to act like being kicked out of the business was just a small annoyance. But her connection to the Epstein circle was on a different level. This wasn't just about being mean to staff. This was something that could lead to legal trouble. Time was running out and she had to act before the government could freeze her bank accounts and assets. So she did what many celebrities do in that situation.
So I'm going to start selling some things that I consider art. Because, you know, they're art. It just depends on if you're the first to put it out. That's how you kind of establish something.
This wasn't a normal auction where you wait for the best price. This was a desperate fire sale, getting rid of items as fast as possible. She moved $10 million worth of art, including pieces by Basquiat, whose work usually sells for millions. She even sold custom sheep sculptures valued at $1 million each. Selling those things must have been incredibly difficult for her, but she didn't have a choice. To stay free, she needed cash immediately. Their massive California estate went on the market and sold for a huge $96 million. That was their main property in the US. They were clearing out everything, including their beach house in Montecito. That property was a whole different story. It was first listed at $29 million, then taken off the market to try for more, and relisted at nearly $34 million. But as the panic grew and reality set in, they dropped the price right back to the original $29 million. They just wanted a quick sale and didn't care about the profit anymore. They just needed the money in hand.
And according to TMZ, she has moved 2 hours outside of London.
When they arrived overseas, they knew they needed some kind of story to explain why they left. They wanted a cover story that the public would believe. So Ellen decided to blame the results of the presidential election. She claimed she was unhappy with the direction of America and needed to escape the chaos.
A source close to Ellen and her wife, Portia de Rossi, told The Wrap that the couple has placed their Montecito home on the market and have decided to relocate to the Cotswolds in England due to the political climate in the United States.
That is not the truth. Ellen and Portia actually purchased their new home in England months before the election even took place. The political story was just an easy excuse to hide what they were actually running from. They didn't leave because of the election. They left because they knew the Epstein files were coming out and were scared of the authorities. Even before the Epstein scandal, Ellen's reputation had already started to crack. That earlier workplace scandal gave everyone a glimpse of who she really was, though many didn't take it seriously enough at the time. Back in 2020, things began to fall apart. Multiple investigations into her show revealed a workplace culture that was completely toxic. Employees said working there felt like being under a stricter regime where they weren't even allowed to look Ellen in the eye.
One makeup artist was quoted as saying that when he tried to make small talk with Ellen, she supposedly said, "Who do you think you are?" Don't look at me.
The truth is, Hollywood already knew what Ellen was like. Once the stories broke, several celebrities spoke up. Comedian Brad Garrett confirmed that her behavior was well known in the industry. Leah Thompson, Margaret Cho, and Dakota Johnson all said the same thing, that Ellen's behavior wasn't a secret or a one-time thing. Everyone in those circles knew exactly who she was, but they stayed quiet because that is how the industry works. No one wants to be the one to speak up and get blacklisted, and the human cost of this is the saddest part.
I just wanted to say the past 11 days have been really tough for everyone. But to honor Twitch, I think the best thing that we can do is to laugh and hug each other.
Steven Twitch Boss was the DJ on her show for a long time. When the workplace scandal happened in 2020, Ellen reportedly pressured him to defend her publicly and tell everyone she was a good person. His wife believes that the stress and pressure from that situation played a major role in what eventually happened to him.
He was going through so much, and he was hiding so much, and there must have been a lot of shame in that. And he was wrestling with a lot inside himself, and he was trying to self-medicate and cope with all those feelings because he didn't want to put it on anyone.
Late 2022, Twitch passed away. The show was over, and his routine was gone. Sources say he was still struggling with the aftermath of being forced to stand up for someone he knew might not deserve it. Then there is the situation with Anne Heche, which is something people don't discuss nearly enough.
The second you hear that it may be coming, get out of the way.
Wow.
Don't wait.
Anne was Ellen's former girlfriend, and she died in a car crash in 2022. But what's really unsettling is the report that Anne was actually working on a documentary to expose her past at the time of her death. It was something that would have revealed a lot about her time with Ellen and that hidden world.
You broke up with her because she had a lot of money, or you broke up with her because...
I broke up with her because her goal was to have a lot of money, and mine was to find love, and hers was I want 60 billion. Good luck. Our forks are never going to meet. The further we stay on with this, the further we will be apart.
The way Ellen treated young, vulnerable guests on her show was also very disturbing. When Justin Bieber was just a kid, she would constantly ask him intrusive questions about his personal life and trauma, making him clearly uncomfortable on camera.
I was just talking about just it being a new chapter for me, and basically saying that I'm sorry for the stuff that I've done. And it's not like I'm not searching for people's approval, but I just want people to know that that's not me, and I was doing stuff that wasn't me.
She knew exactly what she was doing by testing the boundaries of people who weren't powerful enough to fight back. And it gets worse. Ellen also had a friendly relationship with Diddy, often joking about his lifestyle. People familiar with that world say Ellen acted like a gatekeeper, connecting young stars to the dark elite. She wasn't just hanging out with bad people, she was helping them by promoting them on her platform.
Let's show a picture of you at, was it like a 70s themed birthday party? Or was that just a look that you decided to go with that night?
It was a 70 themed Soul Train party, but this is me once every first week of the month on a Friday night.
What are you holding there?
I'm holding my package.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it.
Joe Rogan made a point about this that resonated with many people. He said Ellen's nice persona always felt fake, like she was just putting on a performance rather than actually being a kind person.
Ellen's rough.
Ellen is like an old.
But it's a rough one now.
It's a rough one now because she was running Abu Ghraib in the back of her show.
He even talked about the arrogant behavior he saw in certain Hollywood stars. The feeling that they are above the rules that the rest of us have to follow. When you hear that alongside everything else, it starts to make a lot of sense.
When you see like a lot of people saying that someone who seems so nice is not nice at all.
She doesn't seem nice, but that people have a very poor judge of character. She doesn't seem nice. It seems forced.
So while Ellen was hiding in her expensive home in England, the Hollywood elite started trying to protect her. They released statements to spin the story, saying that while her name was in the Epstein files, she was just one of 300 names. They tried to act like it was just a coincidence, but the public isn't believing it. Being part of an elite network like that means your name being on a list is important. You don't get invited to private islands unless you are part of the inner circle. The media's attempt to bury the story using technicalities is exactly what you would expect from a system that protects its own. Experts who study these patterns call it a deliberate tactic, flooding the internet with excuses and different narratives to make the truth seem like a conspiracy theory. They want to exhaust you so you stop asking questions and just go back to sleep.
I don't think Hollywood's really ready for her return. I think they will continue to punish her, but I do have some intel for you from her current neighbors in the UK. They don't like her. They aren't friendly towards her, and they hate all of the celebrities like Ellen moving into this once sacred and anonymous area and disturbing and in some cases disrespecting the cult.
No matter how many articles try to change the story, the truth eventually comes out. This is where Rosie O'Donnell comes back in. By moving to Ireland, she's in a place where the Hollywood machine can't control her. She is outside of their reach and their pressure tactics, and she has made it very clear that she is not afraid of them.
And the beast we're fighting is not just that round guy in an orange spray tan. It's a big cabal of powerful white men, and it's time to end it.
When she posted that Epstein photo and stood her ground, it sent a powerful message. She wasn't going to be bullied into silence just because powerful people wanted her to stay quiet. There is something fitting about how this played out. While Ellen was selling off her art and homes and fleeing the country in the night, Rosie was starting a fresh life in a place that felt safe. She showed through her actions that she wanted to live somewhere where decency actually matters, away from the corruption and the lies. The real story here is that someone who knew the truth for 30 years finally decided that staying silent was no longer an option, regardless of how powerful the people she was exposing were. Ellen DeGeneres, the woman who once ruled daytime TV and had all of Hollywood behind her, is now living in exile in the English countryside. She is in a stone house far away from the studios and cameras that made her famous. And the worst part for her is knowing that the truth is finally out. We don't need a court verdict to see what happened. The evidence is in her own actions. Ask yourself, would an innocent person have a fire sale of $10 million worth of art? Would an innocent person sell their properties and flee to another country in the middle of the night? That isn't what someone does when they are wrongly accused. That is what someone does when they are terrified of the consequences. The panic is the confession. The Be Kind brand is officially over. That slogan is now meaningless. What remains is the reality of what the Epstein files showed, and no amount of PR can fix that. What do you think about Ellen's attempts to hide? Many celebrities knew about her behavior but said nothing. Who else do you think is helping protect this world? Let us know in the comments and subscribe for more.